This project is to review the evaluation process course and various study methods that can be used to learn the material and succeed in the course. Before we begin, I want to give a brief overview of the evaluation process. Referring to the first concept map that we did in this class, we will see that there are 5 steps for the evaluation process. Assessment and evaluation, which contains the occupational profile and a summary of the client's occupational performance, creation of the intervention plan in collaboration with the client, implementing that plan, reviewing the intervention by assessing client's progress, and evaluate the outcome at the end of therapy. Now we will discuss how we used concept maps in this course to help us succeed. The part of concept maps that I find most useful is the option to format your maps with a variety of colors. I am a visual learner, so making certain topics a certain color helps me break the material up into parts. For example, when I'm trying to recall the information at a later time, I can remember, okay, this was under the green section, which was for higher order cognitive function, and from there I am able to reflect on what I learned about the rest of the section of that reading. Also, depending on the material, I may make up all of the main topics a certain color, like what I've done on this map. Then I can make the subtopics a different color font, and so on, so that the main points stick out a little bit easier. No matter what I'm studying, I love to incorporate multiple colors into my review, whether it's for concept maps, review sheets, notes, or even my to-do list for school. So over here in the sidebar, you can find your color options to change the font, and you can actually create more colors on the color wheel if you don't like the ones provided. They also have background colors that you can choose from, like on this one I put a yellow color, or certain wallpaper designs such as this one. And you can also do tapered lines. They have an option for that, and gradient lines that makes the color change as it goes down. So whatever your color preferences are. I think colors are a great way for visual learners to make associations when learning the material. When reviewing information, I like to review one topic at a time, take a break. This allows information to sink in and easier for recall when working in the field.
Okay, so I'm going to go over some different types of formats of mapping that we use. Quite a few of our maps are the default professional maps. These can be created if you click on File, New, Map, and then it's the first one that pops up titled Professional. This is actually the only type of map format that I used last semester and this semester until I learned more about different styles and templates that XMind offers. You can see in Concept Map 1, this one that we have here is this type of style. Concept Map 4 and 5 are also different versions of this type of formatting. So one reason I really like this style is because it is very easy to keep everything separated and organized. If I zoom in here, you can see like you can make topics, subtopics, and then subtopics from that and so forth, and it keeps everything really grouped. If you click on properties, you can pick how you want your lines over here. Concept Map 5, the one that we're on, has straight lines, but Concept Map 8, which is also a professional mapping, the same format, uses elbow lines, which I like a little bit more because it's easier to look at for me. So another helpful idea we found while playing with the formatting is the ability to make associations with other topics. Let me see, on Concept Map 4 here, you can see this little dotted line. That's an association that we made. So if you click on your box and then this, and then you can drag it to wherever you want it to make that association. So the next map I'm going to show you is called an organizational chart. The up to down, this one right here. So this is actually now my favorite type of map to use, and is the one I used to create my last 2 concept maps for in this class. If you go to File, New, you can see it right here. It's this one. So for years, I've actually only used outlines to study. I'm very linear when I like to study and see it in order, and I was just having a hard time looking at the concept maps when they were spread out in different directions. So this concept map format actually resembles the idea of an outline to me, but I think will be more beneficial because you can still add other aspects like colors and such. So with this type of format, you can make one long line with different topics and subtopics that go down, like so. So before this project, well, one thing I'm not crazy about with this format is that once you make subtopics like here, you can't go back to just your line to add more information in exactly. So I was doing something called a floating topic where you double click it. And then you can add more information, and then I was doing that again and again. But Janie showed me a cool trick, or a good idea when we were working on this project, that like here after you add your subtopics, if you want just more things that go under narrative but not specifically under this topic, she says to just add it above. So you could click on it and then click parent topic, and then you can just keep typing, and then if you keep reading, you find something else, click parent topic, and you can do it like so. Okay, and lastly, the last style of format that we used is the organizational chart down to up, which is very similar to this, but it's just flipped. And you can see that on our concept map here. So the information just goes upward instead of downward from your main topic. So in all of our concept maps, we have a lot of assessments listed in each map that fits under the topic or the chapter that we're reading. So after compiling and embellishing our concept maps, we had mentioned how we'd like to create a separate map as the program goes on with just all the assessments we're learning under the topic that it is assessing. We thought this would be helpful if we need to find an assessment for a specific area, such as like an assessment for testing motor or cognition. We could have one giant concept map that would help with that.
So for those who need even more visualization, pictures, charts, links, and different fonts can be used to help tailor concept maps to your needs. First, I'll explain how I add and use pictures in Xmind. If the picture is already saved to your computer, you can right-click on the bubble you want to insert it into. Next, you'll have the option to insert images from either your computer, clip art, or icon finder, but you must have Xmind Pro to do that. If the photo is one that was found on the internet, you can simply right-click on the picture and select copy. Then you go to your concept map. Once again, you click the bubble you want to insert the picture into, and then give the command Control-V or click and select Paste. You will also have the option to enter text under the photo to give an explanation or summary. Last semester, I used this function often to add photos and diagrams of muscles, joints, levers, and different forces to help visualize something that only words couldn't fully explain. Here, in this Assessing Vision and Perception concept map, you can see how we use this function to insert this graphic of the visual perceptual hierarchy, which helps to better visualize the information in the chapter. This semester, I also used this function to insert graphs, tables, like here you can see the aspects of occupational therapy's domain, and also flowcharts, such as this OT process chart. You can even insert various documents on your computer and link to them. Another way to add extra information to your concept map is in the form of hyperlinks. By using this function, you can easily add informative links to websites, files, or documents saved to your computer, and even other topics within the same concept map to make it easier to refer to them. You can do this by right-clicking on the bubble you want to add the link to and then selecting Hyperlink. From there, you can choose to add a web link, file link, or even link to another topic within the same concept map. The shortcut for this function is Control-H. So for example, if I want to add a link to the OTPF in this concept map, I will go to the internet, I will copy the link, I will go back to Xmind, and I'll click on the box that I want to insert it into. We'll right click, select hyperlink right here, and then you can paste the link and hit enter, and this little blue globe right there is where you click whenever you want to access the link. Like that.
Because of the organization capabilities and variety of colors and layout options, concept maps can be very helpful for visual learners who are studying for a test or learning new materials. Concept maps allow for a visual representation of materials and may be complex, with multiple levels of information like you see here, or it may be very simple and serve as a brief overview of information that you've previously learned, like you see here in this linear fashion. For the more detailed concept map, for example, in the topic of evaluating motor performance, you're able to minimize the levels of information so that you're able to quiz yourself. For example, if you needed to know the general principles of hand strength, you can minimize this section and quiz yourself. That way you would know that the general principles are tested through manual muscle testing and dynamometer and pinch gauge. You can do the same thing if you need to know the positioning for dynamometer and pinch gauge by minimizing this level further. For the simpler concept maps, the information can serve as a brief overview that sparks recall of information from more detailed learning materials such as textbooks. In this concept map that reviews the evaluation of the environment, there are only basic topics connected to simple subtopics. This is not meant to serve as a comprehensive, thorough review, but as a simple visual technique to help recall of information. For example, in the topic of home environment, it is set up in an umbrella formation to show the components of the major topic, home environment. This allows for the studier to make simple connections that are easy to recall during a test or when in the field. So overall, concept maps, no matter how simple or complex, allow the studier to make connections and visualize concepts to allow learning and, more importantly, application of the materials in the real world.